So when you purchase a Bookmark Loom kit from me, you will get all of these pieces included. And then if you purchase the kit that has the yarn included, then you'll also get a portion of your warp and your weft yarn. The warp is a 100% cotton that's a little bit stiffer, harder to stretch, which makes it really good for warping. And then the weft is your colorful, pretty yarn that for the most part faces the outside. All right, cat hairs. So today I'm going to show you how to actually warp your loom so that you can get started. I do typically provide 2 needles. This is just if you have 2 different wefts. We're actually not going to be using the needles for the warping, so I'm just going to set those aside. And we're not going to be using the little comb for warping, so we'll set those aside. Eventually we will use these as optional, but for the moment we're just going to focus on the frame loom itself. And your warp string. So for this, you don't have to cut out any specific amount of warp to start. I would just pull some out, just a little bit out to get started. Now this is the part I always do backwards. I always want to go in like, oh, is it right? Oh my gosh, the first time I'm doing it right, the first time maybe. No, I'm not. See, I always want to go in this way. So what I do is take the short end. I'm gonna like hold it down here a little bit. And I've created these little notches in my design. So if you purchase a Bookmark Loom from someone else, they might have little holes that you can thread the yarn through and tie it to the loom, or if there's no holes at all, then you can just literally tie it to the frame. But for mine, I provided these little notches. It just is very handy, I think. So what you're gonna do is, I kind of like to, am I gonna do this the right way again? Yeah, okay. So I just kind of hold it here and stick it through there, right? And so I've got the short end coming through here. I usually leave about 4-5 inches just so that when it comes to weaving on later, it's a little bit easier, or you can secure it. I'll show you how to secure it around here a little more, but right now I'm yammering. All right, so once you've got that end tucked in there, I'm just pulling it around the back side a little bit. Pulling around the back side, and we're gonna come up and over into that first notch, into that first groove. And it's so simple. You're literally just gonna come down, put it through the next one, and then I'm gonna kind of wrap it around and come back up. So if you look at the back of the loom, you see there's just a little wrap around, and then you come back up. And then same thing, you wrap it around and come back down. Now, as you're doing this, you're just gonna wanna make sure you're holding it, you're getting it fairly tight. It's not gonna be super, super tight, and that's okay. You don't have to crank too hard on it. We will be putting these in later, and those will help a little bit with the tension. But the main thing is just that everything is kind of the same amount of tension, and you can check that at the end once you're done warping it. And you can make this as thin or as thick as you want. If I wanted to stop here and just have a tiny one, or if I wanted to start in the middle of the loom, I could do that. But I'm just gonna keep going around, boop, 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 until we get the thing all the way done. Make sure you're going to the very next opening each time. Don't double them up or anything like that. All right. Getting there. Sometimes it helps to hold it down to get it around, but it's easy peasy, just like that. All right, so I'm going to do this one the full length. All right. Okay, so on this last one, you see I came back here, and so I'm around on the back side. I'll do the same thing again where I just boop, pull it through. And then I have my scissors over here somewhere. I should have started with those. I have scissors. And you're just gonna cut, again, another 3, 4, 5 inches off, however much you want. All right. So, one thing I mentioned earlier is you can kind of, to secure this a little more, you can continue to just wrap this around a little more. Boop. Oh, dang it. If I'd done it just slightly longer, I could have got it through that one so it wouldn't be hanging off the back too much, but that's all right. All right, so there's that. And there's that. Boop. So there, your strings are kind of out of your way. And again, these are all, I should have checked this before I cut it off, but these are all about the same tension. Nothing feels super loose compared to the, one string feels super loose compared to the other. So there's your initial warp. You could technically start weaving on it as it is here and literally just start going in and out. However, I've provided a few extra little tools for you to help make your weaving process a little easier and a little nicer. So the first thing are these spacer bars. And they're pretty simple. So what you're going to do, and what they help with is just giving you a nice straight edge when you start your weaving, and then also providing a little extra space so that if you want to make pretty fringes like this on the end, you've got enough to tie off and use at the end. So I like to start by going under the first string and then over the next one, and then under, and then over, and repeating back and forth. So you're essentially just weaving in this spacer bar the way that you would weave in your yarn. All right, so once you've woven that in, push it to the bottom, boop, and it'll just rest down there at the bottom. And then for this one, for the second one, so again, if we were to start here, you'd only have about this much fringe at the bottom, which that's going to be really hard to tie in knots with your hands, or at least for mine, I have big hands. But if you only wanted that much, that's fine. But you can also always just trim off. Like if you just want that short of a fringe, but make it a little longer for yourself so it's easier when you're tying off, and then just cut it when you're at the end. All right, so for this one, we're going to go in the opposite way. So this last stitch, you'll see this bar is going under this. So you're going to actually go over it with this one and then under the one that went over last time. So again, in the reverse direction, weaving this under and over. Not as good at it with my left hand. And if I wasn't demoing this, I would just be picking it up and flipping it all around however I wanted to. All right. Oh, there's that last one. Make sure you get them. Come on. Get them all. All right, cool. So same thing, push it down, bloop. And now you can see you've got a lot more room for tying off a fringe at the end. All right, now what is this funky little piece? This little piece is your heddle, essentially a heddle, and it's gonna open up what we call a shed, and I'll show you what that means here in a moment. But this is just gonna make your weaving go a little bit faster. If you don't wanna use it, that's fine. But I find it very handy. And so I like to just go ahead and, because I am right-handed, I like to put it in at the same spot as this one. So it's already kind of opened up. You don't have to weave it all. You can just kind of slip it in there and push it up. If you want it, if you're left-handed, you might want to do it the opposite way, which you can either put it in when you put in this one, or you can just weave it in but I just put it in here. And so one, again, you're kind of getting a little extra room for your fringe at the end, but you can stop anywhere as you're weaving on the loom. But what this does is when you flip this up, you'll notice this space. I'm not sure how well you can see it in here, but you'll notice this space here that makes it much easier for you to pass your needle through. So you don't have to, what it means is, right, you can weave, you can weave in and out this way. And then when you've got your yarn over here, you can flip this up and you can just pass it straight through without any fuss. So that's just a little extra helpful piece. So at this point, you have your loom warped and ready to go. And the next step is to start weaving.